I've never understood the KD hate ever. And so I like that he said
the other thing too is people think that he is all up in his feels all the time because he's active on social media. And I'm like, so it's only reserved for celebrities, that idea when they're active on social media, but then you stand so hard when he responds to you.
Yeah.
It's like your claim to fame, quite literally. There's a lot of other narratives around KD and his career, one of which is people putting asterisks next to his accomplishments. Yeah. He also talked about that on this podcast as well.
Do you feel like you have to accomplish more? Are you at all motivated by this, by the story, the narrative?
I wouldn't say I'm motivated by the narrative. Like, I hear it and I understand it, but I've never been motivated by that. It's always been about, can I perfect the craft tonight? Can I be at my best tonight? And that's always the challenge more so than anything. And once I started to understand that, like, this was my goal all along, was to build my craft to the best that I can get it and fitting that into a team, instead of like, I just want to win championships and have these accolades for myself. That's when the game started to become more fun to me. And that's what I lean on more than anything. So once I don't enjoy that part of it, then that's probably when I think about when it's time for me. But I enjoy so much of, like, even the calls, I'm like, man, fuck, I hated this fucking game tonight. This was a shitty game by us. I enjoy knowing that, all right, I can go back the next game and avenge our loss. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy that part of the grind. So, you know, it's just, for me, like, the narratives I hear them and I listen to them and it inspires me and fuels me, but it's not the reason I play. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I can't avoid.
My favorite part about this is where he talks about how it's more about the team for him. Like, that's the most enjoyable part for him is the team success, not the individual accolades. And I think we've seen that throughout his career, especially in his time here with the Suns, and how he's kind of taken a step back in certain areas when he doesn't need it, right? Like, there are nights where, sure, KD could go out there and have 50 points, but that's not what the team needs from KD. The team needs him to be the driver when it comes to defense or whatever it may be. I love that.
He's a big fan of the process. Like, he's just absolutely bought into the process. You don't get to play this many years in the NBA unless you are a fan of the process itself, the day-to-day grind that goes into being an athlete at any level, any professional level. I mean, it is a grind. It is taxing on the body. It's taxing mentally. It's, you got to do all these other things outside of just playing hoop that try to take you away and take your attention away from what it is. But when you get into the building and you're talking to your teammates and you're working out with them and you're putting up shots and you're practicing and stuff like that, that process, real hoopers love that process. Yeah. They just always have. That's why guys will continuously go to the park and play every single day, because they just love the grind. They love playing. It is a pure love of the game that KD has, and that is undisputable. And I really do appreciate the fact that he is not changing at all. Like, just a minute ago, I said this before. Steph Curry in his documentary talked about, when he had broke the 3-point record, he hugged KD because KD was in Brooklyn and they were in New York playing the Knicks, and he hugged KD. KD walked off, and Steph said, "That's the most misunderstood guy in the entire league." And there's a reason for that. It's because people look at Kevin Durant from the outside and they think they can pinpoint what he is and they can make assumptions about who he is. You'll never get to know what KD's all about unless you talk to him and you have a long, in-depth conversation, because he's a lot more complex than that. Point blank, he is. And there's nothing wrong with anything that he's done in his career. He's represented the game at a high level. He's never really gotten into any trouble. He's all about ball. He wants to play with, the best players in the world. He wants to go back to the Olympics this year for the 4th time. Like, I've never understood the KD hate ever. And so I like that he said
the
this.
other thing too is people think that he is all up in his feels all the time because he's active on social media. And I'm like, so it's only reserved for celebrities, that idea when they're active on social media, but then you stand so hard when he responds to you.
Yeah.
It's like your claim to fame, quite literally.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and he talked about this
too.
earlier in the interview, talking about, you know, what does legacy mean? And he's always had a problem with that word. Well, like, my legacy is what you all say about me. It's not even defined by me at this point. So like, what is the point in me putting a ton of stock in whatever you say about me and he talked about this. For me, the GOAT conversation is not like who has the most championships, MVPs, accolades, awards, all this stuff. It's like, I'm in the rare group of people that can have a basketball conversation with MJ, with Kobe, with these all-time greats. Like, what did you see on this play? Or what were you thinking here? And it be a similar answer. And that's something that the rest of us will never be able to relate to on that level. Like, we can analyze the game, we can dissect it, we can talk about what he did on this play or what he did at this point in his career. But at the end of the day, he's forgotten more about basketball than most of us will ever know. So it's kind of cool to hear him say that, like, yeah, I hear the narratives. I know what people say about me, and it does fuel me to a certain extent. But the thing that really drives me is just my genuine love for the game. And he takes pride in the fact that, like, he can jump from a different team to another team and the fit be just as seamless no matter which players he's surrounded with. I think he enjoys playing with different superstars and finding his ways where he can fit in on both ends.